friends. Okay, we're back again for Writer's Workshop, your favorite part of the day. And I can't wait to read all the fantastic things that you've been writing, because I just know that those incredible thoughts have been flowing right through your head. So today I had some workmen. They had to come into my kitchen, and they came in with these big belts. And they had all these tools in their belts. And they wear those belts because they have a lot of work to do, and they need tools to help them get the work done. Well, the other day I was thinking about how you guys were revising, and I realized that you guys need to work on your writing tool belts, because writers need a lot of tools too. And you already learned about tools like our colored pens that we edit with, our vowel charts, and I'm sure that you guys have been using those at home. But today we're going to add some revision tools. So we already know, use a different colored pen to add to your writing. We can, remember, you can use little strips to tape over words that you maybe wrote incorrectly before. You can use your vowel charts. Remember, every word needs a vowel. A, E, I, O, U, A, E, I, O, U, A, E, I, O, U, and sometimes Y. Those are our vowels. Remember, every word needs a vowel in it. Today I want to teach you that paper flaps are a kind of revision tool that you can that can make your stories better. So writers think carefully about where to put those flaps and use them in many different places in a story to help them tell a story better. Remember when we first learned about the little paper strips that we could tape into our stories? We didn't want to cover every single word, no way, Jose. We just wanted to go back and say, oh, this word is wrong. I'm going to put a little paper over it and add to it. So that helped it to make sure that our story was even better. Well, the same thing. Today we're going to be using flaps to make our stories better. But first I want to tell you about a writer. His name is George. And George did a pretty cool thing. So the first thing he did is he went back and he reread his story, because in order to know where you're going to add, first you need to reread your story. So he went back and reread his story. He said, "When I saw a falcon eating a pigeon." Wow. All right. Wow, this is pretty cool. So he read the first page. "Once, me and my dad took a walk to the park." Then he read the next page. "And then we sat on the soccer field." Then he went to add on to the end of his page. "And then we saw a falcon." Oh, "and then we sat on the soccer field to relax." Okay, so next he read his third page of the story. "Then we saw a falcon soaring in the air." And he got a great idea for what he could add. But you know what? There was no more room on his page. Oh no, there was no more room on his page. It was already full. So let me tell you what George did. He got a different piece of paper. He went and found a piece of paper in his house, and he wrote on it, and then he taped it on. That way he could add to his story and add to his page, even though there was no more space. So later in the story, the falcon swooped down and ate the pigeon, and George again didn't have space for the words he wanted to add. And again, he went back, he found some paper, cut it so that it was the right length, wrote his story on it, taped it in, and it was all ready to go. So that is what George did. He used a piece of paper as an extra flap or a strip to add parts of the story that he forgot to tell. And I was thinking that I could use some of those, and you could use some of those, so that you could add to your writing where things need to be added. All right, so let's reread our story about my story that I wrote about the time my sister scared a cow. So first I need to reread it. "The time my sister scared a cow. One time my sister went to my cousin's farm. P-U. It smelled like cow everywhere. And I labeled him, and my sister says, it smells like cow. She wanted to take a picture with her favorite animal, so she found a cute cow grazing in the pasture. There's the cow, it's saying moo. But when she jumped in the air for the picture, the cow got scared. The cow jumped 10 feet in the air and screamed so loud. Friends, when I'm thinking about this story, actually, I remember that when the cow jumped, it scared my sister so much that she jumped 10 feet in the air too. Oh my goodness. But wait a second, there's no more room. I already even wrote below the line. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna give up. I need to add that detail. So I'm gonna make a strip. So I went and I cut a piece of paper. It's just this little piece of paper. And I added the cow jumping scared my sister, so then she jumped too. And I taped it on. So now when I read this story, I'm going to have an extra long page. But it makes the story so that you can have a better mind movie. You can have a better movie in your mind. That helps me know. My sister jumped for the picture and she came back down. Well, the cow jumped, and then the cow came back down and my sister jumped. And oh my goodness, everyone was just jumping because it was so scary. All right, so the first thing that we did was we reread our story. Then we asked, wait a second, how can I make this better? So we reread and ask ourselves, how can I make this even better? And once you have something to add and you've reread the story, you have to figure out where to add. Then you can go make a flap of paper. So cut it to the right size. You don't want it to be way too long or way too short. Cut it to the right size. Write your words on it and tape it in. Or if your mommies and daddies have staplers at home, they can staple it in. That's fine too. But remember, ask a mommy or daddy if you're going to use a stapler. That's a big kid thing, not a little kiddo thing. All right. So today, you guys will use your tool belt to make writing better. Remember, your writing tools. You can tape a little piece of paper over to edit. You can use your different colored pens to edit. You can use your vowel chart to edit. And now you can use your paper flaps to edit. So you can start by going back to the stories that you've written last week. You wrote 2 stories last week. So you can go back and edit those, or you can start a new story. It's up to you. And I bet some of you guys will invent different ways to add to your writing too. I know that there are a few friends who write on the backs of pages. They say there's just not enough space in these papers. I'm going to write on the back of pages, and that's okay too if you want to do that. So now it's your turn. Remember that it is important to make the stories easier to read. So that means that your pictures are all labeled. So you first need to think about your story. Go back and draw the pictures and label them. All your pictures need to be labeled. Then you need to go back and do best writing. That means using finger spaces. That means every sentence starts with a big letter, the rest of the letters are little letters. That means having a period at the end, or an exclamation mark at the end, or a question mark at the end. That means adding your speech bubbles. That means going back and revising. So after you write each page, go back and read your whole story again. And then remember, a great way to make your writing even better is to ask a friend. So you can ask your mom or dad, you can ask brother or sister, you can ask grandma and grandpa, whoever is around you. Say, can I read my story to you? And then read it to them. And then when you're all done, say, what can I add to my story to make it even better? Because remember, you want to make your story best it can be. And another tool is your partner power. So use the friends around you that you have in order to make your stories even better. Today, our goal is to go back and edit. So that means you need to go back to your stories, that you've already written, and add to them. Okay? All right, my sweet friends, it is your turn. Go write your wonderful thoughts. I'm so excited get to read them. Know that Miss Morgan misses you so much, and I can't wait to see all the hard work that you've been doing. Goodbye.